Jared.
We're here.
We're here.
We're live.
We are.
We are.
I think genius. Boom.
Are you sure?
We disappeared.
I don't disappear.
No, we just appeared.
Yeah, we just appeared. I was gonna say we disappeared.
No, but we will be in about an hour, so.
We don't disappear. We don't do nothing. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for the hand clap. I'm back. I deserve
Jared
all the
is back.
applause.
Oh.
No, I'm just playing with you. I'm just playing with you.
Damn. Take the light. Why don't you?
Look, we was just having an off-air conversation about giving yourself praise. So I'm like, let me give myself a little bit.
Give
of
himself
praise,
a little boost.
You know what I mean? Just a little boost. How you doing, Justin?
I'm good. I'm tired. I ain't gonna lie. I have a little headache, but I'm gonna keep that to myself. I don't need everyone to know what I'm going through right now.
True. Tylenol.
But I do have a headache. Yeah.
Like
I need something. Percocet, whatever knocks me out.
Percocet.
Whatever takes care of my headache, I'll take it. Oxy, you just give it to me.
That's gonna put you on a high.
You know what's crazy? Speaking of which, I had or sleep. No, so sometimes I need a little bit more. Okay, the other day I was in a lot of pain. My back was hurting, and I had a bottle of these old ass oxys that I had from prescribed from when I had my operation a year ago. So they expired, and I was like, oh, these probably ain't gonna work. Like, I'll take a full pill because it's not gonna work. That's what I thought. Don't trust the expiration date on a perk or an oxy. If it tells you it expired, it's still going to work. I was laying in bed like a zombie. I couldn't move my arms. My eyes was wide open. I was starting to freak out. I was like, oh, my God, I think I'm dying. Like, it was not good. And I kept waking up like every 30 minutes, like freaking out.
It sounds like you don't need to take no more.
I don't think so. I think I need to, well, people get addicted to that stuff. Let me tell you.
That's what I'm saying. It sounds like that you need to stay away from that.
I'm not going to get addicted to that. I thought I was dying. I don't like that feeling. I couldn't move my arms. I was barely blinking. Something was wrong with me. Jesus. But yeah. Well, how about you? What's going on with you today?
I'm good. I just came back from New York yesterday.
Actually. I heard. What was you doing in New York? I know, but they don't know. What was you doing?
So I went up to New York because my agent has submitted me for a photo shoot that's going down in the next couple of weeks. And I said,
nice.
Sign me up. You want me there? I'm there, fam.
Let's do it.
Now, here's a small funny story about my trip up there, though. So I get on a bus to go up to New York. And the bus driver, you know how some bus drivers, like most of them, they don't say anything except welcome to bus such
right.
and such.
If
we're
that.
Going here. Yeah. We're taking a stop at here. Please don't touch this, but you can do that. Yada.
Yeah.
This bus driver want to act like that he a tour guide and want to point out everything up and down the highway. And I'm like, yo, we
get back behind the wheel.
Yeah, like we don't give a damn about that.
Keep your eyes on the road,
and then
sir.
The first stop that we made on a bus, he's like, all right, y'all, so we're going to be in New York at this time, but it all depends on weather and traffic. And honestly, this bus, it does this, that, and the third. Like, I can push it to go fast, but I can't really push it like that.
Well, he was saying this on the microphone?
He was saying that on the microphone, and then he was like, and whatever. Then he said, and I quote, and whatever, I'm always late anyway. And I was like, no, hold up. You
lucky you made it to New York.
Yeah, I was like, no,
you lucky you made it.
That. You don't say that.
No.
I have an appointment.
Right.
Like, I was supposed to get off the bus at this time.
Right.
So
I'm on a schedule, paid job.
Yeah, so that way I can catch the train at this time to go over here and be there by this time and still have some hangout time. You cutting into my hangout time to get my muse and all that. But nah.
That's not good. That's not good, Jared.
Man.
Well, at least you made it. You got to your session, right? Your shoot, which is good.
So we was good. All I'm saying is that if I catch him the next time I go to New York and I have to take a bus and I catch him as the driver, I'm like, change my ticket.
Yeah.
Change my ticket. Matter of fact, I'm switching over. I'm going to that company. I heard Peter Pan is rocking, so we going.
Hello, Chinatown.
We're going to stop in Neverland. And
Chinatown
then
is like the cheapest. Chinatown or Bolt Bus, they're usually the cheapest if you buy them in advance. Or Megabus. You got to buy them a month in advance if you know you're going to New York.
Yeah, at that time.
In your case, you didn't really know, right?
It was literally a 24-hour
impromptu
notice, so I was like, oh shit, we gotta.
You got the ticket that you could get.
What up, Elena?
Woo! Get me there. So before we actually start today, everyone, I definitely want to give a mention to our beautiful co-host Jonay. She is not here with us today. We actually want to keep her in our prayers. So she texted us just a little bit ago, actually, letting us know that her father was rushed to the emergency room. So we're not sure what happened, but definitely want to keep her and her family in our prayers.
Definitely.
That's why she couldn't be here with us today, but we still love you, Jonay, as always.
And we praying for you and your family.
We are praying for you. Let us know how everything goes, and we hope to see you next week. No, I do want to talk to you, Jared, and you, the viewers, about a special guest that we have today coming to the table in just a little bit. It's kind of talking a little bit about relationships, which is a heavy topic for a lot of people because a lot of people don't like to talk about relationships.
Or when
it's a sore topic.
Or when they hear that word, all they think is like, ugh.
Yeah.
Because relationships is hard, it's just
right.
and whatnot, but they can be beautiful.
Yeah, it's not always a bad thing. It's not always a bad thing. But I do want to know, from you, there's a few different areas of relationships. Actually, I want you to kick it off first.
Okay.
Of what question or what topic you'd like to talk about in regards to diving into relationships.
Well, we was just talking about people having that factor when it comes to relationships because they know it's hard work and whatnot, and people struggle to find somebody they connect with. So I want to know, what do you think is the main cause of relationship issues or barriers or what have you?
Well, so I do think my answer, Jonay, would relate to because she always talks about it, and it's kind of cliche when it comes to relationships. But I do think that the main cause of issues or barriers in between relationships, the number one thing probably is communication. And I say it very lightly, let it slip right off the tongue, but communication is probably key, number one, that you have to have in order to have a solid relationship. I mean, the lack of communication is what's really going to break it down for many different reasons. You know what I mean? So for me, in short, I would just say, if you don't have communication, then you're probably going to have a difficult relationship because you're not going to be comfortable talking to each other. You're going to keep things to yourself. You're going to push somebody away or not want to face or confront what the issue may be. And maybe the other person doesn't know what it is that you're feeling. So you want to kind of open up and talk to them about it. It's not a bad thing to talk. I think people always fear confrontation or not knowing what's going to get resolved or if it'll get resolved. But you can't think that way, especially in a relationship. If you're with somebody, especially a marriage or a long-term committed relationship, at that point you should be comfortable opening up to talk about whatever. You know what I mean? It don't matter what the conversation is. You should not have a reason to hide. That's what I'll say. I don't know about you, Jared, but that's what I'll say.
I mean, I would agree, but I will also say that at least in today's society, I would think that also just the time and the effort seems to be an issue with some people because everyone says oh, my life is busy. Well, I have this and I have that, and then I go home and I think about this, and then I'm like, well, if you don't make the time for that one person that you are having a relationship with, then it's gonna fall off. I just told somebody 2 days ago, I was having this conversation with one of my friends, and I was like, yeah, if you do have a lot going on, it is a little difficult to put that time in. But trust me, you will put the time in for the people who you really want to spend time with.
Right.
So you can make all the excuses that you want. Some of them might be good, some of them might be bad, but at the end of the day, you will put that time in.
Right.
That also brings me to another question because I saw this going around on Facebook, and I wanted to ask you. We're both artists and entertainers, so someone asked, can you date someone who's also an artist or entertainer? But I'm gonna just keep it in general, especially for our viewers. Could you date someone who was in the same job field, as you?
Job field as far as entertainment, or job field as far as what I do full time?
Let's stick with entertainment.
Okay, yeah, because it's different.
Yeah, because we could be talking about you handling money, but
right.
I don't think nobody would have a problem with dating
because I don't date people I work with as far as in the workplace. You know what I mean?
I wasn't talking about that.
Oh, okay, got you. Okay,
that's a conversation for another day.
I've known people who've done that,
that's
and sometimes it works out, sometimes it don't. Well, I will say this: I have dated somebody who's been in the same industry, and it was very difficult. I probably would not do it based on that experience because depending on how heavily involved you are in entertainment, if you're an actor, a singer, musician, whatever you're in entertainment, you're typically going to be busy, right? So you travel a lot, maybe you don't travel, but you're always going to auditions, you're working on reading scripts or reviewing or practicing. 90% of your day and your focus is going to be on your your goals, like your path in entertainment. So it's harder in relationships because typically you are not focused on the relationship. And that was a problem that I had. So I would never want to go back to a situation where I am with somebody. Well, now I'm married, so I don't have to worry about that no more. And they're not in entertainment at all. It worked out. But I would never go back to that because it wasn't a good relationship. We didn't communicate that much. We didn't talk that often. One of us was here, one of us was there. It just got to be like almost like we turned into more friends than being like, partners or in a relationship. So it depends on the industry, but if you're saying entertainment, hell no. Right. Hell no. I wouldn't date me either knowing that I'm doing X, Y, and Z because I wouldn't feel like I'm giving enough time to the relationship.
I had somebody hit me up on IG Live just now. My friend Elena, who we take classes. What's up, Elena? She's a beautiful model working out of DC, New York, LA. Hit her up on IG, Elena Models. Anyway, she said that you have to have a lot of trust if you're going to date somebody in this industry. Which is true. Because you're all over the world. You're doing lots of traveling. So, yeah, I would say the same thing. It is difficult, but you've got to have that strong heart and that strong connection and a lot of trust.
Now, what I will say, we're getting ready to take a quick commercial break in just a moment. I do want to shout out to my cousin, Rachel. Rachel's actually watching right now, so shout out to her and her husband. They actually are married, and they've worked together for many, many years. 2 different jobs, actually.
What do you mean they work together?
They work in the same, yes. I think right now, I don't believe they work in the same office. I think she's at a new job, and he's still at the one where she had left. But for 2 different jobs, they were together for many years. Is it, Rachel, tell me, I think it's like 10 or more. They've been in the same job together, and they are an amazing couple. It's crazy because you usually don't see that.
Well, God bless you because I can't do that.
Yeah.
I couldn't do that.
I don't know. We'll let you have it, Rach. Yes.
You might be the most amazing, wonderful woman in the world. I don't think I can spend that much time with you.
Yeah, it can be difficult. But with that being said, we have a lot more to talk about when we get back. We actually have our special guest here in the building who's going to be joining us in just a moment. That is going to be Radisha Dixon, a.k.a. also known as Queen Desh. She's going to be joining us in just a few moments, but we will be back after this short commercial break. Don't go anywhere.
Keep it locked.
I started Restoring the Village off of the strength of one, being a widow, losing a husband, and just wanting to make a difference. We wanted to do a holistic approach, and so Restoring the Village was started, and it was a pop-up that God just put a vision in my heart and just said, do it. And so my biggest thing is being obedient and doing it, even if it doesn't make sense to me. We have a great team, about 7 core members, and we have over 200 community partnerships, and those partnerships are churches, they're agencies, they're community association, nonprofits, they're everyone. They're leaders, community leaders without even a community association. It's just they're leaders. And so I love talking to people. I love meeting new people. And that's just how it goes. It's like a cluster. You just keep on building and building and building. Then I have different community partnerships that they help with just jobs. Like I know my lane. My lane is connecting. And so we have other people that help with jobs, and we have other people that help with missing children. You know, we have people that has their own niche, and we just want them to feel a part. So I just connect them. And shout out to Diamond K. He's very influential in the community, offering platforms. I started Restoring the RTV Project radio show as just a way of getting information out to the community. It can be so many things that can go on, but what we want to do is only solely work and focus on the positive. And so that's all that Restoring the Village is doing. Everything on there is positive, and there's no negativity. We've lost that communication. And so I love when people actually come on and actually can talk to people and let them know what they're doing and why they should support them, you know, and how they can be supported. So I just think that loving on one another is the best thing that we can do right now. I would love to see, you know, more people getting involved in their communities. And again, that's, you know, kind of off, but getting more involved in the community is the best thing that we can do. I'm totally not against police officers. Of course, we know there's some good and bad with anything and anybody. I want to really, truly make a difference. I'm running in the same district that my husband was murdered in. And that right there shows strength. It shows that we can recover from anything. And it's not to say recover, but we can conquer anything. And you can make a difference even in your brokenness.
You are now tuning into Out the Box Radio Show. Entertainment at its best. Hot topics, games, and unforgettable interviews. Welcome to the show.
All right, thank you everyone for staying tuned and not leaving our side. We really appreciate that. We just got back from our commercial break, and we are joined here at the table with Miss Radisha Dixon, also known as Queen Desh. How are you?
I am good.
How you feeling today? You're looking wonderful.
Trip out here. You
Yes.
really did. I'm not gonna say how long the trip
Tell us
is,
where you're
but
coming from. Tell the viewers where you're coming from.
I drove all the way here from Alexandria, Virginia.
Alexandria, and we're in Baltimore, the studio, so it's a little bit of a drive, but we certainly appreciate it.
a little bit.
Absolutely.
We do have a lot to talk about, and we're really excited to have you on with us today. I'm sure the viewers are as well, because some of the topics we're going to discuss is, I'll call it pressing topics that a lot of people don't sometimes like to discuss. So we definitely want to get into that. Now, in front of you, we noticed you have 3 books with you.
Yes.
And I definitely want to talk about the background of these 3 books, where they're available for purchase, and then the motivation behind creating these. So this definitely, if you want, we can actually kind of put them up, and I can show them in front of the camera as well. We can hold
Take
them.
that one.
Yes.
Take this one, and then I'll take this one as well.
So, Desh, let's talk about the first book and tell us which one came first, and then what to expect within the novel.
Number one.
Yes.
Number one, ladies and gentlemen.
No More Broken Records. Let's talk about it.
No More Broken Records, 5 tips to change your tune and transform your life. So all 3 of my books are available on Amazon.
Nice.
And I've actually created a movement. The movement itself is No More Broken Records, which is a movement to empower women not to settle. So that's not just in relationships, but in life in general. You know?
Which is good.
Yeah, yeah. And men too. I mean, clearly the divine inspiration came to me to do it for women, but
Right.
clearly I help men as well.
You did. Now, which of the these other novels came second.
This one.
Okay, so the girls are taking the lead, which is okay, which is good.
It's fine. It's fine.
Yes.
Black women empowerment.
So Queens Don't Settle. So this is the second book based on this one as well, correct? A little bit of a spin-off?
So actually, what I did, I was actually at work, and
Okay.
I just kind of, was asking my higher power that I'll call God, and I was like, how else
Yes.
can I help women?
Right.
And it like instantly came to me, do a poetry book, and I was
Oh,
like,
nice.
oh my gosh, that's perfect. And so this is actually the second edition.
Okay.
But that's the one that I want women to get because I updated it.
Queens
so
Don't
it's Queens
Settle.
Don't Settle, a book of poems to empower women.
Okay.
So what inspired you to write poetry?
Yeah.
Because this really, I'm sorry to interrupt, but this really could
Sure.
have been like its own little, just regular self-help, but there's poetry in this. So what inspired that portion?
Yeah, thank you. Well, I'm a writer. I'm a writer, and you get asked that question, what do you want to be when you grow up? And
Oh, yeah.
I wanted to be a writer. So it came very natural. When I was in school, I used to enter like poetry contests and things like that. I won writing awards in school, so
Oh,
I
nice.
knew I at some point wanted to
Yeah.
be a writer.
Awesome.
All right.
So I'm guessing this is the third installment. So we have Kings Don't Settle, which is actually the nickname I love to go by, King. So I love to hold this book.
I thought it was
represent.
Kendall.
It is Ken doll when I'm a Barbie, but right now I'm not plastic. I'm real, and I am a king. So let's talk about this one. So obviously, and when I was reading more on your website, I didn't even know you had a book for men. I thought it was, which is okay. I thought it was for women and geared towards women empowerment. So I was very surprised and happy to see that there's one for guys too. So let's talk about this one, but also I want to know the differences, obviously, what caused you or what inspired you to create one for men versus just women.
Sure. So I released Kings Don't Settle this April.
Oh, nice. That's fresh.
It actually came to me. I went to a convention. I'm a Forex trader, and we had a convention down in Atlanta. I'm a fan of Chanel Cooper Sykes. She's also a spiritual teacher.
Okay.
And sometimes when you go to an event, you bring back all of that positive energy with you. And I was, in the same sort of space with Queens Don't Settle. It was like, okay, what can I do? And it literally came to me, it's time to do the poetry book for men.
Okay.
And I ended up doing the first 14 poems in like 2 hours.
Wow.
And that's how
Wow.
I knew. I was like, okay,
Yeah.
okay, God, I guess we're going to do this.
You're on a roll. Right. Right. How many poems?
14.
Wow. Yeah. After that, you have to keep on going.
Right.
Yeah. You have half the book done at that point. So that's good. That's what's up.
So what are the main differences between the Queens Don't Settle and Kings Don't Settle book?
Well, men are from Mars and women are from Venus. So,
Which is,
clearly,
I believe it.
My women, we have our own ways of thinking and being,
Yeah.
and naturally, I tried to cater to women in that one. And then with the men, I asked some men that I know in advance, hey, if you were doing this, what would you want in there? And they answered honestly. And so from that, I got some inspiration on some of the poems and how
Nice.
to cater it to you guys.
Nice.
Yeah.
Which is amazing. So you have no reason not to purchase because you can, or you should be purchasing all three. But even if you want to spotlight on one, if you're a guy, hello, you
Fellas.
better get the King's version.
Fellas, hold that up real quick.
Yeah, I mean, come on now. I've never actually seen somebody as authentic as even this work itself to be geared towards both.
Yeah.
Both. So I appreciate that.
What a divine assignment.
Yes, I'm sure. Well, and let's talk about, I want to kind of roll into transition into, because we love to do this on the show. We like to talk about not just memorable moments, but sometimes challenging moments. Now, what some people don't realize is in your career, in your path, or whatever you do for a living, everyone's going to face a challenge. So I'm not aware of this. I'm sure as the viewers who are not writers or authors are not as well. What are some challenges that you face being a poet and or an author, a writer?
For me, I would probably say in the marketing aspect of it.
Okay.
I still need to at this juncture. Unfortunately, I still need to get it on Barnes and Nobles.
Okay.
I didn't do the standard, or maybe I can't even say standard, but I didn't go through a publishing company. I self-published all three of mine.
Oh, wow.
Because for me, it was
Awesome.
more important to get it out. I
Yeah.
wanted to at least make sure it was available to the world.
Yeah.
And then I'll come back and worry about all the other stuff.
Yeah.
Because sometimes we have this perfectionist syndrome, and I know I'm
Oh,
guilty.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
I know
yes.
I'm guilty. And I feel like if I did that and tried to get everything perfect, I wouldn't have given the world that.
Yeah.
You know, so I think the challenge is sometimes for some people it's getting started. For me, that wasn't my challenge. My challenge was more so the exposure, probably part of it. Which
Yeah.
I'm still working on.
Yeah.
Still a work in progress.
But I was going to say, sometimes it takes baby steps, and it sounds like you, and it seems like, it looks like you have a solid foundation here, so it's really where you shoot off from there, right? Now, talking about motivational speaking, what do you enjoy most about that? That's hard to do for some people. Some people get very intimidated to get in front of a group of people, let alone try to motivate them. So what do you enjoy most about that?
You know, I think everyone's called, but everyone doesn't step up to the plate. And I just chose to answer the call. I mean, I have the heart for it. I have the spirit. I have the gift. You know, God gave me the gift. And
Absolutely.
I've been performing since I was young. I started out dancing. I did flag and step and choir and pageants. I'm also a national pageant title holder.
Wow.
So I'm used to being in front of people.
Nice. Okay.
So it just made sense for me to also, I guess, be an empowerment speaker.
Yeah. And that's something that I think a lot of the young girls who are in pageantry as well can look up to you as a mentor, because look at where you've transitioned from even doing pageantry to now speaking onto others and helping them. And that's probably a goal that they have, I imagine, in pageantry, is you want to gain those skills, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, it kind of falls aligned with it.
Yeah, I think with pageantry, I mean, that helped me. A lot of people, of course, have different opinions on pageantry, but I'm only going to speak to the positive aspect of it because there's plenty of negative. But for me, it did help me because it helps you with public speaking. You know, it helps you sort of become like a world-class citizen because you're volunteering, you're doing different things, you're really becoming a better person.
Yeah.
Because for you to be a title holder, I mean, you have responsibilities.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you can't just be like a flake.
It's not just an easy job. Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can't
Yeah.
be a flake. So, I mean, to me, pageantry is positive if it's the right pageant and you have the right group of people.
Right. Okay.
Do you mentor anybody personally, whether they're in pageantry or not?
Well, people come to me for advice all the time. I used to be a big sister in the Big Brother program.
Yeah. Nice.
But I'm not doing anything one-on-one like that.
Right.
I'm just more so helping people as they need it.
Sure.
I'll put it that way.
Okay.
I know that some people they rather do like the one-on-one thing, or they take on big groups like the big sister or the big brother type of thing. But
Right.
I don't know. It was just a quality of like, I feel like that she just like has a few people that is like, no, I see something in you. We gonna work on this. You know what I mean?
And I used to do, it's called the Guest House. It's in Alexandria. I used to volunteer because that particular nonprofit is for women coming out of prison. So
Oh, wow.
they clearly need support.
Guidance.
I used to
Yeah.
do that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
And they also need someone to help them like I'm not gonna say readjust, but reacclimate them
Right.
to the world.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So different coming out, especially depending on how long you're in for. Oh my gosh, it can be an eye
Now
opener.
this is making me want to go home and watch
Orange is the New Black.
Like-
We were just talking about that.
We were talking about
Yeah.
that earlier, and I'm like, man.
Well,
Oh my God.
we have a special guest who's going to be calling in for an interview in 2 weeks. Adam Lindo, who was on the final season of Orange is the New Black. I think he's recurring in almost every episode.
Yeah.
So Jared, you have
I've
to keep me in loop.
I've already
of what's
seen you,
going on.
boy.
Yeah.
I've already seen you.
I don't have Netflix, but I've seen what I need to see, which is exciting. So we are looking forward to that interview as well. That's why we kind of bring it up. But
Exactly. But anyway, back to you, Miss
Yes.
Queen. So you also have a podcast. Am I correct? With the same title
yes.
of this book.
It is.
Please expand.
how about
Queens
that?
Don't Settle. Yes, that is a podcast, and it's available on Anchor, iTunes, Spotify, and Google Podcasts.
Oh wow. Okay.
And I started it last June, and to date, I'm at over 38,000.
Wow.
Ooh.
Awesome.
Yeah.
What are some of the topics that you? Huh? She might have. Woo! No, that's actually great, and I think the platform of even podcasts, people don't think about it, but it really does. It adds value, and it really does touch the right audience when it needs to, which is great for you. You're kind of doing. I'm assuming. Let me ask you, what is your podcast about? Because I would assume if it's about these novels and books, the focus is motivating and women empowerment as well.
Yes.
Okay.
But I tell, just like when I do my Facebook Lives, I tell the men, because what I do weekly Facebook Lives, and I do a queendom tip and
Okay.
a kingness tip.
Yes. Oh,
so
wow.
I alternate between both of them. And I always tell the men, you guys can listen to some of the episodes on the podcast as well, because the principles
Right.
apply to both women and men.
Oh, wow.
Generally speaking.
Okay.
Yes, it's for women, but like I said, the principles itself pretty much apply to men.
Nice. Okay, Miss Desh, I need to ask you a question. Because I don't know what lies within these novels, but I really want you to read a poem for us. I would love for you to choose.
Well, I would love for you
Me?
to read one from The Kings Don't Settle.
I would love.
Okay, Justin. Okay, Justin.
I would be honored to read from the book of which I'm called. And I think that, you know what? Yes. Okay. Jared, keep on going. I'm going to find a good one.
Okay.
I'll read from Queens Don't Settle.
Yes.
Okay,
I'm
well,
excited for this, you guys. I am excited.
So on your podcast, how many people do you bring up and just have a personal conversation with them about things that are in your book?
So the way that my podcast is actually set up right now, going forward, I'm going to be bringing people on. But what I do is I've done all of them, and they're directly from my phone. And I want people to know, because people, they sit on their ideas and they think they're not good enough, male or female. And I have amassed over 38,000. I wasn't even going to do the podcast in the beginning for that very reason, because we all have fears and doubts, and if you would just start, like, I'm doing it from my phone. I don't have all this fancy stuff. And the most important thing is to be authentic. It should just, it needs to come from your heart. It needs to be something you do care about,
Right.
but it needs to be authentic. So right now, it's just me doing the podcast. But going forward, I am going to be bringing people on.
Nice.
And I also have my prayer calls that I do. I upload them so people can listen to the prayer calls as well.
Awesome.
One more question, because I know you found your.
I
your
sure
new
did.
episode.
I'm excited.
But do you think that it would be, like, let's just say that this was probably 10 years ago or 15 years ago in the past, but obviously, the elevation of social media and the awareness of mental illness, creates a bit of a stigma or create a bit of misunderstanding for people. So do you think, like, that 10 years ago or 15 years ago, when that really wasn't prevalent, do you think that, taking on these projects, the podcast, the books, and the mentoring, do you think that would be a little bit easier or difficult depending on the time?
We certainly live in a different time. And I mentioned on the prayer calls when it naturally comes up, for people to stop comparing themselves to others. People have to remember that social media is showing you highlights. They're showing you highlights.
Right.
They're not showing
Right.
you the fact that I was up at 3 a.m.
Right.
Okay, they're not showing you that. They're not showing you all the other stuff. So it's highlights. And a lot of people are not living the life that you think they're living. They're not who you think they are. They're showing you the good parts.
Yeah.
And that's why I always try to remind people that they're enough and to stop comparing themselves and, like, get off social media. If anything, get off it. Just take a social media detox, because it's causing people really to get into depression, to have the anxiety and the stress, which leads to all of these mental illnesses and mental health issues. Right. We didn't have that years ago, and I'm old school. I can't even lie. Like, it's a different time, and I say I'm like old school with modern day flair.
Right.
But we didn't have that. I mean, growing up, even like with video games.
Oh, yeah.
I played Nintendo. I had Sega Genesis. I mean,
Throwback.
Sega Genesis, exactly.
Sega
Who
was the
knows
best.
about Sega Genesis? I
Sonic,
had Sega
yes.
Genesis, but we didn't. I mean, we still played outside.
Right.
We still had social skills.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it is different.
Social skills, not social media.
Right.
That's
Thank
the
you.
difference.
Yeah.
Social skills, going
And then
outside.
how to talk to somebody.
Right.
Okay, going
Right.
outside and playing, right?
Yeah.
Not being in the house all the time.
Yeah.
I'm from New York, so we were on the streets. You know,
Oh, yeah. Right.
you know, being
There's things to
delinquents,
do.
of course. But
But you always
Oh,
had
boy.
something to do. Yeah, you always had something to do, so it kept you busy.
Yeah.
It kept you entertained. No, we were just at another coworker of mine. We're just talking about the same topic of how social media, even though we're so addicted to it, it can be so discouraging because you see friends or peers who are oftentimes traveling, or they're always out drinking or having this extravagant meal or something like all over the table, and you're just like, well, damn, I can't afford that, or I wish I could go travel because they're all having fun and doing this or buying the most new stuff. You know, it can be very discouraging, and quickly you realize how much you begin to fall into it before you can even push yourself back up, and it's scary. And I will admit I'm highly addicted to social media, and my husband could even tell you that he watches me daily, even when I'm in bed, all the time. And it's bad, and I know it's not good. And I wish I could help myself, but I say I can't. I know I can, but I wish I could really do better because it's overpowering. It's hard.
And you take that in, and
Yeah.
and that's the thing. You start to compare, and
hard.
something that I even mentioned on the prayer call this morning, which it came up. I wasn't even planning on talking about it, but God will just give me something. I roll with it.
There you go.
I talked about the fact that you have to make sure you're mindful of what you do the first thing in the morning, but also before you go to bed. And I brought up social media, just like the news. The first thing when you wake up, you should not automatically be on social media. Like, your mind is very sensitive. For the first 10 minutes, you want to feed your mind with something positive.
Right.
So you shouldn't be scrolling through and seeing what everybody else is doing with their life, or should I say their inauthentic life or fake life, okay?
Keep it real.
What everybody else is doing, or going through and looking at all the disasters of the world.
Right.
Because your mind takes that in.
Right.
And people don't understand your outer
Perspective.
world is a reflection of your inner world. And so you have to be mindful
Right.
of what you're taking
Right.
in, even before you go to sleep.
Right. That's very true.
So I'm sorry that I have to put you on the back burner one more again, but
It's
what
okay.
would you so what would you recommend those first 10 minutes when you wake up in the morning, and probably
Gratitude.
the last 10 minutes when you fall
Sure.
asleep?
So I always try to remind those on the prayer call to do some type of gratitude ritual. Like, when I wake up in the morning, the first thing, even in my mind, I just say thank you. Like, I'm like, thank you, God, whatever your source is, whatever it is that you call that. But I say God.
Yeah.
So I'm like, thank you, God. And I normally say, like, blessings, blessings, blessings. And I have affirmations in my phone that I can easily, quickly just play. So I want the first thing in my mind to be something positive.
Positive, yes.
Positive.
Yes.
Like wealth affirmations, health affirmations. Actually, you could even listen to, ocean, what is it, like subliminal ocean music.
Yeah.
But it needs to be something non-negative.
Right.
Okay. No
Right.
news.
Right.
No news.
Oh my gosh,
No
especially out here in
news.
Baltimore. Please don't turn the news on.
I'm serious. Like,
Yeah.
especially at nighttime, right before you go to bed, do not watch the news.
Right.
Okay, don't they have it at like 6:00?
They sure
Can you
do.
watch the 6
yeah,
o'clock news?
while you're eating dinner before you go to bed.
I'm serious.
Yeah, don't
Like,
do it right.
It's the same thing from when you wake up. It's the same thing from when you go to bed, because your mind is going to take that, and while you're sleeping, it's processing all those fires,
Right.
all those plane crashes, all that negativity. It's processing.
Right.
It's processing. You don't want that. Before I go to bed, I'm watching my mind movie. A mind movie is like a moving vision
heard of
board.
it.
It is a moving vision board. It's like a slideshow, and you're
wow.
just watching. You're watching all of your goals and things that you want to attain in the form of a movie. Okay.
Oh, wow.
But I have affirmations playing in my house all the time,
Right.
anyway, because
Right.
I'm very conscious and aware of that.
Yeah.
And I think other people need to be as well.
That helps.
I knew
I didn't know.
I knew there was a reason why I vibed with her. I knew there was
Yeah.
a reason why I vibed with her. Because I'm like, I've heard all of these concepts. Like, I'm working with someone who's explained to me all these concepts. I'm like, yo, I know this. We talk about this. We do this. I'm
I
like,
like it.
go ahead, Justin. Go ahead.
Are we ready?
Yes.
Yay! Okay, I'm going to read from Kings Don't Settle, which is one of Radisha Dixon's, Queen Desh, one of her books of poetry. So I'm going to read, I hope this is one of your favorites,
Okay.
Desh, because this is one of mine so far. I'm going to read A King's Confidence, because you have to be confident. I hope I am. Sometimes you lose a little bit of confidence. You have lack of confidence. So don't lose it. Don't lose it, y'all. So I'm going to read this one. A King's Confidence, out of this novel right here. Okay. King, when you look into the mirror, are you happy with exactly what you see? It's easy to feel like you are lacking when your life isn't where you want it to be. Don't fret. You are still a man of honor. Your character isn't flawed or at stake. There may be things that you need to acknowledge. Rest assured, everyone's made some mistakes. Build your confidence by honoring your calling. Follow through on the commitments that you make. Show up for yourself and your loved ones. You are responsible for the life you create. Be a man of your word and do not waver. Your confidence is tied to your self-love. When you know who you are and you don't deny it, there is nothing that you can't rise above. Ooh, this is getting good. King, don't forget you are royalty. Damn right. Don't forget you are royalty. You're powerful way more than you think. Your confidence should be at its highest. Your belief is the only missing link.
Wow.
Ooh.
Wow.
Let me tell you something.
Those
That
words.
is powerful.
Those
Yes.
some words.
And that's a confidence booster right there. Hello? Let's read the title again. Why don't we? You guys seriously need to go ahead and get these. These are on Amazon, correct? You said
Right.
Amazon?
Amazon, yes.
Make sure you get these on Amazon. Kings don't settle. Queens don't settle. And no more broken records. Oh, my gosh. Well, thank you, first of all, for bringing these in because we love it. Now, I'm going to shoot it over to the author herself, Miss Queen Desh. I want you to read from Queens Don't Settle.
Yes,
Queen,
Yes.
listen up.
Queen. All right. So I'm going to read from my Queens. It is called Masterpiece. I know we've been programmed to always fear the unknown. I know most of us have gifts and talents that have yet to be shown. I know sometimes you wonder why you're here, why you were born. I know many of us have been through so much. Some of us fall in the category of a woman scorned. When you look into the mirror, you are disappointed with what you see. You cry and tear yourself down, sometimes disgusted. You ask yourself, what happened to me? You've been broken, hurt, and abused after you trusted those closest to you. The stories are all the same, no matter your color, gender, or race. Ladies, it's time to reclaim your value. It's time to click erase. Everyone goes through struggle. Everyone experiences strife. What doesn't kill you only makes you stronger. Trust and believe no one has a perfect life. Learn to forgive those that hurt you so you can take back your power. Let the past go and start to move forward. No more drowning in sorrow or cower. You are a beautiful child of God, no matter your past mistakes. Have faith that it will all work out. With God's help, you will never break. You are strong, loving, and kind. You are blessed, and ladies, don't forget fine. There is nothing you can't do, but first, you have to believe. Believe in yourself and know you are worthy. You are the chief of your magnificent dreams. Take a stand for who you are. Stand in your truth and be in peace. No more bondage, no more limiting beliefs. Just walking tall, head up with ease. You are not tainted. You are a masterpiece.
I love that. I love it. You know, when you read that and when you mention the title, I thought of Jasmine Sullivan's song "Masterpiece," which is one of my favorites.
It is.
But going into words, you can feel it a little bit more as you're reading it live. And I like the little insert that you added when you did the little actions. I like that. You brought it to life, which is what you need sometimes.
That's her spoken word.
Yeah.
Poet coming out of her.
You
right
have to
there.
bring it to you have to.
That's the
Yeah.
performance coming
It's
out
keeping
right
people
there.
engaged, which is what's important. So we love it. Thank you so much for reading that
Thank
and
you.
Right.
bringing these to the table because I'm looking forward to this. Actually, I need to go on Amazon to get me a copy, especially
Exactly.
Kings Don't Settle.
Exactly.
Yes,
And if I can
confidence.
just say, it's here, ladies, think of your daughters, your nieces,
Oh yeah.
the women in
Yeah.
your church, and same thing for the men. You
Yeah.
have, especially, men need support. Okay, men need support, and men need love, and men are hurting as well. Men are hurting as well, and society conditions you all to suck it up and be a man. So hopefully they can get something
Right.
from that and be empowered. So don't keep it to yourself.
Yeah.
Tell your brother and the people at your church. Let
Yeah,
other men know.
absolutely. That's awesome. Yeah,
All right, so for
that's
the
awesome.
for the remainder of our time, we want to talk to you about your life as a relationship.
Yes, relationships.
Before you came on, before you
lot
came on,
to
we
talk
had a
about.
little bit of a discussion.
Okay.
Some questions that we had. But first off, how long have you been a relationship coach?
That's a good question.
You don't have to put a timestamp on
Officially,
it if you
let's see.
don't want to.
We're in 2019, so I think I came into this space like maybe eight years ago, because it was kind of birthed from my own experience. And I think what I did was I went on a spiritual self-empowerment journey, and through that I grew spiritually, naturally, and it's like, I guess the gift was always there, and it just came out finally. Yeah, so
Wow.
I would probably say ever since then, because people always come to me with stuff.
Yes.
My goodness, always.
Now, going into that, okay, you helped us transition right into that one. So, as a relationship coach, I'm curious to know, all of us are curious to know, either what is one of the craziest things you've seen, or the most memorable advice that you've given to someone who's come to you with relationship advice or questions. Craziest thing or most memorable advice?
I'm going for the craziest.
We like it. We love. I love that she chose crazy.
And that's funny, because I told the woman, I said, I'm going to end up using what you just said.
Oh,
It's so
girl.
funny.
Hey, at least you let her know on the spot.
got
I
you.
did,
Yes.
and she
Let her
was
know on the spot.
because I couldn't believe it. So this guy that she went out on a date with, I guess was looking maybe for just a one-night stand and some fun, okay? But she was clear that that's not what she was looking for.
Right.
And so he immediately assumed that she was a lesbian.
Oh.
And started,
Wow.
saying some negative things. And I was like, "Are you serious?"
Male
And she
egos
said,
are fragile.
"Yeah, I'm really serious." And so I was just like, "Okay, wait a minute. So if a woman is not wanting to have sex with you on the first night, she's a lesbian now?"
Right.
Okay. We're definitely living in a different time. It's a different time. I don't know.
Male egos are fragile.
Yeah. I was like, I'm gonna use that. Yeah. Yeah.
So, first of all, it's kind of rude to make an assumption that someone is that way just because you don't want to sleep with them.
Yeah.
First of all, I say, in general, it's just rude.
Right.
But she must know, well, you must be a lesbian. I was like, oh.
Yeah, well, that's
And it also
crazy.
speaks-
Okay.
That's
'Cause I guess it's
that's
so
absurd.
common nowadays. I guess that if you get someone that doesn't want to do that.
But
guess,
I mean,
But it also
dang,
speaks
like,
to the man as well. It says that he cannot take rejection.
right. That's the thing. What makes you so special to where she has to be a lesbian because she don't want to sleep with you? Who
Right.
says you're that great anyway, sir?
Yeah.
First of all,
Yeah.
in general, not just in the bed, but I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Maybe you are, but no, don't be mean.
Exactly.
Keep it to yourself.
Don't do that. When
Yeah.
I had another friend recently kind of tell me about some negative things a guy was saying to her because she rejected him. She just wasn't interested, and he just went in on her, and she was like, I haven't had someone call me names like that since I was 8.
Right.
And I was like, what is going on out here? Like, are you guys really that insecure? Oh my gosh.
Goodness gracious. Well, some
as
people
I
are
said, hurt. A lot of men are hurt.
Right,
And men have just as many unresolved and unhealed issues as women do.
Right.
They do.
Yeah.
And I will
I
speak on this. It might not
believe
be
it.
every male's experience, but I know for some men, it is like this. They run to the need for power to get over that.
Yeah.
So if they can't take someone's power or
Yeah.
be in that dominant position, it's not gonna turn out pretty.
Then you act like an 8-year-old child.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Now, do you have any feedback, tips, or tricks to give to
Tricks.
someone? Wait, what happened?
No,
Did I say it wrong?
You say
Tips
you
or
say
tricks?
Any tricks? And I'm like, wait, tricks? Well, there's tricks
Well,
to
not tricks, but maybe some, I don't know, let's just say feedback or tips when it comes to a successful relationship to keep it heading in the right direction.
Well, let me even just rewind because how about we just start with getting in a relationship with the right person for the right reasons.
Right.
Okay. A lot of people are looking to fill voids. A lot of people are bored. Cuffing season comes around and people want
Oof.
to bay.
That's coming around.
Wintertime. It's when it's cold outside.
Hey,
Hot girl summer's about to end.
exactly. But the problem with that is
The cold man's winter. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go
I might steal that. Oh my goodness.
The problem with that is you try to make the holiday bae a full-time person.
Right.
And that was never the intention. You see? So that's not going to work out because
Right.
that's not what you wanted it for.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
So I want to rewind and just start from the beginning. Can we know who we are first? Can you know who you are and what it is that you're seeking? Can we have the clarity on what it is that you're seeking in a partner? Okay?
Right.
And actually choose someone that's actually in alignment with what it is that you want
Right.
and what it is that you're doing. Okay.
Right.
And if you actually happen to get that person, I think it's up to the two people. I'm not going to give you there's no one size fits all.
Right.
So
Exactly. Yeah.
my thing is people need to do what works for them. Okay. I don't conform to like society's anything. What works for you may not work for you. It may not work for me. But if you're in a relationship with someone, the two of you need to have open, honest conversation about
Right.
your needs and your wants and how to keep that relationship fresh and exciting.
I said communication.
Communication
Didn't
is
at the beginning of
everything.
the show? Communication is
People
key.
aren't talking, and people.
Yes.
It's crazy to me that people aren't having conversations like in the beginning, and you're
right.
in this relationship for years, and now you're just figuring out that the person doesn't want a kid. Well, what
Right.
were you doing the first
Right.
3 years?
Right.
You never had that conversation. Like,
Yes.
Not to cut you off, but do you think people are not having these conversations because they're afraid to, or they're just looking to have an attachment?
I think people are looking. It could be a combination of both, but I think a lot of people, unfortunately, they just want to have someone, and unfortunately for women especially, we're conditioned from a very young age with fairy tales. Okay, men aren't, and that's just a fact.
Right.
Men are not conditioned with that, and so you have women growing up with this idea of Prince Charming and the fairy tales, and so they're looking for that. And unfortunately, there's this fantasy. Women and men have it now. I realize men have it too.
Yep.
It's like a lot of people are holding onto a fantasy, and it's just not real life. It's not reality. The person's actions, they're showing you they're not the one for you, or they're not interested, and people are still like trying to get these people to love them, or they're trying to be with them, and it doesn't make sense.
Right.
So the attachment and just wanting to have someone and to fulfill this idea, based on what society has conditioned you with, is a huge problem.
Wow.
Huge problem.
Yeah.
Do you mind if I ask one more question?
Go ahead, Jared. You want to roll here? It's flowing. Go ahead.
No, I do, because like we have conversations
really
and
into
things
it.
perked up. But
Yeah.
anyway, do you think that two people who are in let's say a situation right now, we ain't talking about me before y'all even start. We ain't talking about me. But do you
We
think
know who
before-
you're talking about.
No, we don't. Shut the hell up. Anyway, do you think that two people who are in a situation right now where it's not working out could have a better chance in the future if communication is open,
Or is it too late? Is that what you're going with it too? Or is it too late to have that?
Kind of, sort of, yes. There's
So-
a weird way to put this. It's a very weird way to put this. Sometimes, like me personally, I believe that like, okay, y'all might not be in a relationship right now because it ain't y'all time, or like that y'all are together right now because like this is your moment, but it's not gonna last. However, somewhere down the line, it will probably come back up again because this is when the universe is going to line up for you too.
So,
Does that make any type of sense?
Okay, so if two people are together right now and it's not working out, can they break up and years later come back together? Yeah. I mean, sometimes it's the right person at the wrong time. People have to be honest with themselves. I think people are in denial about the truth and the truth about where they are and what's going on with their relationships and the truth about who they're with. If it's not working, you have to love yourself enough to do what's in your best interest. Because if that person is not the right person, all you're doing is delaying the blessing of the right person coming into your life by staying with the wrong person. The longer you hold on to what's not right for you, the longer it delays what is right for you. But I do believe that, yes, I mean, sometimes it's not the right time, and two people may need to work on themselves individually first. And then, if the universe brings them back together years later and they're in a better space, give it another shot. If it naturally happens. But I don't think there's any type of rule on that.
Okay, and now to jump off of that, this is my final one, Justin.
Oh, go ahead.
You believe in the wrong person at the right time.
The wrong person at the right time?
Like a one-night stand type of situation?
No,
Because that's... I'm just saying, because that might be a right
because-
time for you personally, if that's what you're feeling.
No, because of like there are some people who like hop into a relationship for the wrong reasons, but it turns out it turns out that in time they've learned so much about themselves from being in that wrong relationship. So in the long run, it turned out to help them. That's what I'm speaking.
Okay, so what I would speak to on that is everyone that comes into your life comes to your life for a reason. You know, we all know everyone comes in sometimes for a season, sometimes it's a lifetime. Okay, you're going to be attracting people into your life based on your level of consciousness, based on your energy that you're putting out, your beliefs, all of that. Okay, that your beliefs dictate your reality. So you can have someone in your life and it's not the right person, but if you want to be in a relationship, for example, and you probably really shouldn't be, but you want to be in a relationship, okay, you're going to attract and you're going to get someone based on where you're at right now. So even if you're broken and down and out, there's still someone for you that's also going to be in that same space. They're on that same wavelength as you.
Right.
Okay, so the two of you come together and you are in a relationship, and through that relationship you grow because you realize, I mean, you're clearly not right for each other, but through that relationship you guys both learn about yourselves, and you will, through that process of learning, recognize this is not the right person for me, but you know what? I'm glad that I was in this relationship because it taught me so much about myself.
Right.
And so now I can move forward and probably attract the right person. So I think everyone comes into your life to give you something. There's always a lesson that you can take.
Yes.
I think it's your perspective.
Yeah.
There's always a lesson that you can take. So it just depends on whether or not you choose to see it that way. Because if you don't get the lesson, you're going to repeat it anyway.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, you're going to repeat the same things until you get
do.
it. Until you get it, you know. So no, everybody will come in and give you what you're supposed to get at that time. And that's probably what
Temporary
you needed,
relief.
the lesson at
Yes.
that time.
Yes. So what are some maybe other areas that, aside from what we just talked about, what are some of the main areas you tend to focus or look for when it comes to coaching on relationships? You know, getting to know the people before you give that advice. What are some of the areas of that person you tend to focus?
Well, it's life and relationships. Sometimes it's just general life stuff, you know, because people just are experiencing life.
Right.
But it could be the same woman who had the guy call her names. We talked about doing a vision board, you know, so she actually had a whole whiteboard, and she started to, you know, write down some of the things that she wanted. So sometimes it can be just the clarity on what you want, because you'll be surprised, some people
They don't
have
know.
no idea
Yeah, they don't know what they want.
Like,
Yeah.
aimlessly, out here aimlessly, with no clarity on what they actually want in a partner. And therefore, God, the universe, the divine, whatever it is that you call that, doesn't know what to give you because you don't know. So it's wide ranging, from clarity to just general relationship advice,
Right.
depending on whatever she is going through. With the guys, I would say,
Is it a bit harder for men?
No.
Are we tricky?
No, I would just with the guys. I'll say it's the same. With the guys, I can just kind of give it to you guys straight. So it really is the same. Honestly, it's wide ranging. There's nothing in particular that I can really say is like, oh, it's just this. It's a broad spectrum.
Do you ever have any pushback when it comes to men? And this is only me wondering, just from the outside looking in, being someone who gives advice as a relationship coach. Have you ever had a man kind of push back and look at it in the sense of a woman's perspective of a woman telling me this may not be as true or what they feel is fit for them? And I'm not saying it because I would think that, but I'm wondering, like, on a man's level, have you ever had that pushback? Like, well, you're a woman telling me this, so maybe I'll go get advice from them. I'm just curious because
I wouldn't say pushback. I mean, we have natural dialogue back
Right.
and forth.
Okay.
We disagree. We may disagree,
Okay.
but no, I wouldn't say so far. I
yeah,
wouldn't say
which
no.
is good. Which is good.
I'm intentional, and my tribe, when I'm even doing the Facebook lives, I typically say like, we're mature. The Queen Desh tribe, we're mature. So we can agree to disagree,
Right.
but we should be able to respect each other,
Right.
and voice our opinions and be okay.
Right.
So no.
That's good.
Knock on
I
wood.
was trying to see how many of y'all men were one-track minded. Don't go to someone for advice if you
Right.
can't open up.
Right.
True.
Yeah.
There's a reason why you're seeking that advice.
Yeah.
Just be honest, bro.
Yeah, don't put a wall up, because if you put a wall up, then why'd you come to the
Be
door in the
honest,
first
bro.
place?
Yeah.
Be honest.
Yeah. Messy.
Yes,
People are so
yes.
messy sometimes. No, we honestly, we appreciate all the information. It's a lot of details, but we really got into it, I think, and I'm sure, Jared, you enjoyed it as well.
Yeah,
I
he was
learned some
vibing.
new stuff.
He was vibing.
I learned what I should and should not do before going to sleep and when waking up, because I'm a common person who would be on social media actually literally in my first 5 minutes of waking up, and it's almost every day. I won't watch the news because it's always depressing to
At
me,
least.
but social media is no better, because
True.
you're almost comparing
That's
yourself to what other people have or going through, and that's all you see.
Exactly.
So it's
so
going to
then
be difficult.
What can you do instead?
Well, I think for me, for waking up, I would prefer, because I don't do this enough, of looking forward to what my day is going to be. I usually at work am very organized
Okay.
at work, and in my personal lifestyle I tend to be as well, but I don't plan ahead. And I think I could do a better job of planning ahead.
Okay.
Maybe that will reduce my stress level because I'll know what to expect. Because I get very stressed and I cuss people out. I will not lie. At work, I cuss half of the
telling the
people
truth.
out.
Okay.
And I need to hold back from it. I'm getting old and grown. I don't need to be doing that no more. No one wants to be cussed out by an old man.
Okay.
But it happens.
We'll see.
So maybe a stress reliever or just being better prepared. At night, I like your idea though of like you said, not a vision board. You said
Mind Movie.
mind movie.
Yeah. So
mind
if you
movie.
go to www. I think it's mindmovie or mindmovies.com.
I'm gonna look that up.
And it's free, and you can create. I think it's the 4.0 version.
Okay.
But you can create a mind movie. And
Mind
then-
movie.
Yeah. you
I'm
create a
interested
mind
in that.
movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's powerful.
I think that will help when you go to sleep too, because people probably don't realize this, but like you said, when you watch the news or you see social media, your mind is now pulling that in.
Yeah.
How quick is it to have a nightmare or something crazy happen
Exactly.
because you done seen some crazy
Exactly.
stuff?
From personal
Because-
experience,
From-
it's very quick.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
From personal
Seriously.
experience of putting something positive in my mind to transfer into when I go to sleep, that happens very quick too. So
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So
it's
it's
garbage
toxic.
in, garbage out.
It's toxic,
I learned
yeah.
that from James Malinchak. He's the world's, I forgot what his tagline is. Oh my gosh. But he was on Millionaire, the Celebrity Millionaire TV show.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, he's well-known speaker. But I learned that from him. Garbage in, garbage out.
Yeah.
And it's, you put garbage in, garbage comes out.
The whole recycling process.
It really
It's-
is.
Yeah.
Garbage in, garbage out. So
Yeah.
you really have to be mindful of what you're taking in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Whew. Well, I learned a lot. I learned a lot
Definitely
today.
not. One thing that I hope our viewers learn is that y'all need to pick up these books, fam. Pick up these books.
Yes.
This one, let me go in order first off.
Yeah, go in order. Yes, let's do it.
This one, No More Broken Records, 5 tips to change your time. No, I'm sorry, not time. 5 tips to change your tune and transform your life. I need to eat.
Yes. he
Second
needs to
one,
eat.
Queens Don't Settle, a book of poems to empower women. And then the third one, Kings Don't Settle, A Book of Poems to Empower Men. All of
Yes.
these are on Amazon,
Yes.
correct?
Available on
All three of them
Amazon.
on Amazon.
Now, also drop your social media. I know we're talking bad about it, but people need to look you up and see this stuff as well. So give us your website and where they can find you on social media.
So you can go right to my website, www.queensdon'tsettle.com.
Mm-hmm.
I have all of the social media links on there.
Perfect.
Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's Desh Dixon, Deshdixon. The Queens Don't Settle podcast. If you put it in like the Google search engine, I think it'll pretty much come up. But if you go to anchor.fm/Desh Dixon, I think. Anchor has all 10 of the platforms that the podcast is available on.
Perfect.
But yeah, if you go to my website, if you scroll down, everything is on there for you just to click on the books, the podcast, the YouTube, and read some of the blogs. Men and women, read some of the blogs on there.
Yeah. Should be very insightful. So
Yeah.
that's good.
Definitely.
Well, thank you, Miss. Were you going to say something before I exit us out?
Thank her.
Go ahead.
Thank you so much for coming
you.
through and sharing some of your
Yes.
vibes and your insight with us and
course,
to our viewers.
Positive energy feels good.
Yes.
So we needed that. Absolutely. After a long, stressful day.
Exactly.
Although you never know, I might cuss somebody out when I leave.
Dude, don't do it.
But at the
Don't do
moment,
it.
I'm good. I feel great. I
do
feel
it. Don't do
amazing,
it.
so I won't do it. But anyways, thank you all for tuning in to another great segment here at Out the Box Radio Show with Miss Radisha Dixon, a.k.a. Queen Desh. We appreciate you coming by all the way from VA. So she did some travels, and hopefully it's raining outside. So safe travels back. We definitely want you to get back home safely.
Thank you guys so much.
Absolutely. And we will see you all next week.
Thank y'all so much. Take care.